Good morning. Good gracious, it's been a long day today. We are been going at Mach 2. I don't know if anybody else was stuck in that traffic today, but I think me, Jack, and Mike all came from 3 different cities, and I'm pretty sure most of us barely made it. In fact, I got stuck in the tunnel coming from daggone Newport News. That traffic was ridiculous. It was backed up all the way to almost Mercury Boulevard. It was crazy how backed up it was. So anyway, we are going to be with the 757 House Whisperer Show. I am coming live from Yorktown, from my 5-acre farm, because the traffic and me did not get along today. So Mike did make it through. I think Jack did too. But yeah, it was just a crazy day. So this is 757 House Whisperer Show. My name is Chuck Worley. I'm the founder and host of the 757 House Whisperer. I also own Worley's Home Services. We do heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, cross-face encapsulations, insulation, you name it, we do it. So what I've done is joined a whole bunch of contractors that I like. Most of them. I like Mike, I guess. We've stuck around each other for like 35 years.
Yeah,
which is longer than Jack's been alive. So I guess that means we like each other.
And then some.
So I just want to kind of let Jack, he's going to introduce some of the other hosts. But go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, so my name's Jack Keller with Legacy Painting. We're a residential and commercial painting company based right out of Yorktown. We do inside, outside. We also do a little bit of drywall work as well. But also on the show, we have Justin with Pyramid Roofing. We have Tommy Hines with Perfect Home Remedy. He is the Get Your Money guy. We have Albin with Albin Co., remodeling homes. And we have Cindy Rao with Alpha Pet Solutions. And we also have Mike here right next to me.
Yeah, I'm Michael Davenport. I'm with the CVP Windows and Doors. We are the only window manufacturer in the Hampton Road 757. We do home window replacement, and we make our windows fit. We have our team of our people that work on a W-2. We don't hire any subcontractors to do your window install because we want the job done the way we want it done, not the way they think it should be done. And we find that a lot of people really love having us come out and get the job done. We do it the right way the first time. We are now getting ready to expand into the Richmond market. That will be starting in a few weeks, and look forward to getting some of those people that are up that way. If they're on this show tonight, give us a call. We'll be glad to set up an appointment for you to come by and give you a free estimate on your windows, exterior doors, etc. I've known Chuck Worley for quite a long time, since about 1993, I think. That's quite a long time. And he does a top-notch job in all the things that he does. He and his sidekick, his son, have built a heck of a business, and that business is all over Hampton Roads like ours is. He'll go to get it done. And as much as we love a day like today, Chuck likes it really cold or really hot. Chuck does not like mediocre coolness because that does not require heating or air conditioning. We in turn we like
misery. We like really cold or really hot.
Yeah, that's right. He's the only guy I know that prays for heat in the summertime. What do you mean it's only 95 degrees today? I want it to be 100. Come on, bring that humidity and that heat on, and he'll get you done. He'll get you taken care of. We have Custom Vinyl is our official name. Custom Vinyl Products go by CVP Windows and Doors. We are the guys that go to. We offer a quality job, a quality product. We're not going to spend 3 and 4 hours in your house. Nobody's coming to eat dinner, eat lunch, spend a night because we didn't get it all done. We come in, we spend 30, 40 minutes. We do takeoffs, we take pictures. We come back, and then our girl in the office, Ola, she types everything up. Donald looks at it, puts a number on it, and then we come back and do a presentation. Now, that presentation can last anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. That depends on how many questions you have. And the reason we come back and do that presentation is not to try to pressure you to do anything. we are window educators. That's all we are, is educators. We help you understand what we're doing, how it can be put together, and then we sit down and help you make the decision by answering your questions and what have you. We're not going to be the cheapest guy in town because he works out of a pickup truck and his burner phone quits after about 6 months. We are the guy that is got a group of people. We employ over 50. We kept those people online during COVID because we're a family. And we really have a fabulous production team installing. We have a fabulous office staff. Salespeople are great. But our backbone are the guys that make the windows in our manufacturing facility that I built about 14 years ago. I've been doing this contractor thing for over 51 years. It's 51 years this past May. And I really feel like I got a handle on it. And with that said, I'm going to stick it back in Chuck's lap.
Ha! All right. So, yes. So that is my friend Michael Davenport. And if you want the right job done, he's the guy that's going to do it. I trust him explicitly. As I've mentioned on the show a couple times in the last couple months, I am definitely doing some work at my house, trying to fix it up. Last time anything was done was in 1936, and there was a few additions put onto it, but so what I've learned by doing construction in your house, I have like 4 or 5 different levels of floor in my house from each addition that was put on. So anyway, we're sorry, Mike, I can't see that far.
757, the number, buddy, the number.
What's that?
757-627-7979. Call in. And Chuck always says, this is true, there are people out there that are shy and won't call. But if you call in, number one, you're going to get a Starbucks card. Some people like Wawa cards, but you're going to get a card. But more importantly, there are going to be a lot more people out there listening that are going to get their question answered because you asked your question. It helps to motivate everybody to get involved, and it really, really gets a lot of good answers because people have trouble with their crawl spaces. Chuck did mine, heating and air conditioning. You know, one thing that is horrible is having an air conditioner that's way too big. Chuck, why don't you go into the guy? Chuck says I need 2 tons, and I said no, I don't want. I want 3.5 tons. What happens, Chuck?
So it was kind of along the lines of what I was going to be talking about today with humidity. So most of us don't realize that in air conditioning, bigger is not better, right? So everybody's bigger truck, better truck, bigger house, better house. In air conditioning, that's the exact opposite what is true. So while we're going through this, I do want to remind you guys to call in 627-7979. Call in. Sorry, doing this out of pocket, out of the studio is definitely different. So I apologize for that. But 627-7979. Call in with any questions from the roof to the crawl space, from heating and air. We got our specialist Jack here for painting, windows and doors. Mike Davenport, please call in with any questions about that, anything construction-wise on your house. So let me go back to what Mike was talking about. Yeah, oversizing in air conditioning is a nightmare, and people don't realize what's happening. So what we're really trying to control is humidity in our house, not temperature. Temperature doesn't matter. The temperature doesn't make the fat guy sweat. Humidity does, right? And I say that because I'm a chubby guy. I don't like to sweat. So humidity is what we're trying to control. When someone needs a 2-ton system or has a 2-ton system and they end up, or the homeowner's like, I want a 3.5, a 4-ton, or this guy said he's going to give me a 4-ton system for the same price as a 2-ton system. It's not going to work out well. One is the guy doesn't know what the heck he's talking about if he tries to do that to you. But what happens is your system runs and cools so fast that it doesn't have time to pull the humidity out of the house. So what happens is you keep turning the thermostat down and down. So all of a sudden, at 70 degrees, you're still sweating, right? You're still sweating at 70 degrees. So what do? I cut the stat down to 68. I get it to 68. I'm still sweating because a unit is satisfying so fast. It's coming on, getting it to 70 degrees so fast that it doesn't run long enough to actually pull the humidity out of the house. So then what happens? You get it down to 64, 65, and then you just have this black stuff start growing on your walls. And that, my friends, is never a good thing. Mold and mildews, and it can be an ugly thing. I had a customer one time that would cut off her units, and then when she got home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she'd, when it's 1,000 degrees outside, and cut the AC on. So, of course, the unit is never going to catch up until about 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the next day she'd go to work, cut the unit off again. She goes, I need bigger units so I can satisfy the air. And I said, ma'am, you're going to have mold problems if you put a bigger system in, or if you cut your thermostat off all day and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 100 degrees outside. You're all the humidity from the outside is going to be on your walls and your sheetrock. So anyway, she doesn't listen to me. She does this all through the summer. About a month later, I get a phone call. I come out to her house, and guess what? There's mold everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean the ceilings, the floors. You could wipe your hand across everything in her house, and it was like a rainforest. It was so wet. Everything was soaking wet. And I said, ma'am, are you still cutting your thermostat off during the day? Yeah, I want to save money. Okay. Well, you're not going to save money because you have to replace all the sheetrock in your house because you got mold everywhere. And this is the bad stuff. It was horrible.
And
so people trying to get people to listen, man. It's just it's which is why I started the show, man. I wanted to get all of these people to listen to the House Whisperer about, look, there's nothing about it. Houses talk to me. Like, I love being able to help people fix their houses. And we've been doing this one house at a time for 30 years now, 25 years. Now I get the opportunity to talk to one customer, help one customer, and have 1,000 other people listening to the show, and I can actually help more than one person. So that's kind of why I came up with the kind of public service announcement or public service show for the 757. Like I said, this is not a nationally syndicated show. This show is put on for our neighborhood, our hood, our 757 people to educate you on your houses and what's going on. That's why we hire specialists here. We got a painting expert, windows and doors expert. That's what we have on the show. So please call in 627-7979. I want to remind everybody that we do have gift cards from coffee houses, local coffee houses, that we're going to send you a gift card just for calling in and just for answering the trivia or the question. The one trivia that I had for today, Mike, I didn't know if you had any trivia, but I'm an old history buff. So one of my favorite presidents was Lincoln. So my easy question is, what president was Abraham Lincoln? How many terms did he serve, and what years did he serve? And the reason that I liked Abraham Lincoln is because things just didn't get handed to him. That dude got his butt kicked in how many elections? I mean, I think he lost 3 or 4 elections. The dude was a lawyer, went out of business. I think his wife died. Like, the guy just kept getting kicked in the face, and he kept getting up. And that is my kind of guy. Like, things didn't come easy to me. I just outwork everybody in the room, and that's why that's why he's my favorite president. So that was my trivia question. Like I said, anybody calls in with any answers or attempts, we got coffee house gift cards, and just call in 757 627-7979. I must say that number like 5,000 times a day, but a Wednesday. But so anyway, Big Jack, you got any things that have interesting that happened this week on the job site that you might think could help a customer help our listeners with something that, somebody painted over oil, somebody painted any kind of crazy thing that you ran into this week, or Mike?
Why don't you tell us what you did on that one for my buddy Kurt? A proper way to prep it.
Yeah, I can cover both of those. First, Chuck, something that we see a good amount of is some of these older homes, especially like Hilton Village and just some of these older homes that have that oil-based paint. People think, they don't even think about it, which I completely understand. They just kind of throw some paint on it, which within, almost immediately the paint's going to start to fail and cause more issues and just become a larger expense. So an easy way to kind of avoid that we see is go to your local Sherwin-Williams, Walmart, Home Depot, and get some either paint thinner or denatured alcohol. You can get some paint thinner, put it on a rag, rub it on the paint. If any of the paint comes off, it's oil-based. Or if you use denatured alcohol and it comes off, then it's latex. So just an easy way to avoid that and get the right primers and paint it. And then Mike sent us a referral to a good buddy of his and was a phenomenal client to work with, super easy. He built a walk-in closet. He had a bunch of custom trim put in, some shiplap on the walls, and stuff like that. It just, you got to go an extra step and just making sure you prep everything right. There's a ton of nail holes, caulking, all the new trim, new sheetrock. So getting the right primers on there, getting the right putty in the holes, and make sure everything's sanded. So we put a coat of paint on everything. We gave everything a light sanding, especially with like trim and shiplap. When it's on the walls like that, it's really a good idea. Just give it a light sanding. It makes it real smooth to the touch, nice to look at. And then using just a good high quality top coat paint to put over top of that gives it nice durability, dries real hard, and looks real good for the years to come.
Chuck, why don't you go into exactly how the air conditioning gets the moisture out of the house?
So basically, everybody's heard of a dehumidifier. Air conditioner is basically a big dehumidifier. Thank you, Damon. A big dehumidifier. Basically, if you've ever grabbed a towel and twisted a towel in your hands, it's just twisting out or squeezing out the humidity or the water inside of a towel. A dehumidifier and air conditioner is doing basically that, just pulling the moisture out of the air, which is what makes you sweat. Temperature does not make you sweat. I think we were talking about it last week that we had a customer that was turning it down to 65 because he just couldn't get the humidity out of the house. The right size air conditioner, the right tonnage. It will pull out the humidity out of the house so that you are actually comfortable. And that's what we're fighting for, is to make people comfortable in their own house, not, sweating. That's bad. That's bad.
When the air passes over, is it the condensing coil that is inside the house and the air handler inside?
The evaporator.
The evaporator. Okay. The evaporator is chilled and the air comes across. It condenses on those fins, right? And then it drips down into your drain pan, and that's why you see the dripping outside. It's getting rid of that moisture in the air.
Yeah, I try not to get into the details too much because it's we call that techno talk, and you end up losing the customer because really all they're concerned about is, why am I sweating? So I do try and stay away from techno talk, but if you want to get into the nitty gritty, I will do it. I just think it's wiser just to the thing that I want to do is control the temperature and control the humidity in the house. And we do that by properly sizing. We do load calculations, CAD drawings, load calculations. I see it. And pull the humidity out of houses. So we got about a minute left before we got a hard break. So I want to go over our question of the day is Abe Lincoln, my favorite president. What president was he in the United States? What was the number? and then what years did he serve and how many terms did he serve. But I want to remind you guys again, when we come back from the break, 627-7979. You guys got to call in, ask some good questions so we can help not only you, but help all the thousands of listeners that are on this radio station. Call 627-7979. Call in while we are answering Mr. Will's question from Chesapeake, Virginia.
I tell you what, Will, are you there, buddy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, squirrels, it's just a rat with long hair. And they can be a real pain, man. The first thing in getting rid of squirrels in your attic is to find out how the squirrel's getting in. They can make their own hole, which you've got to locate and take care of. But normally they can find a little spot and squeeze right on through. You get the hole repaired, but then my advice to you is to find someone, and I'm not exactly sure who that is. I know what was our good buddy Keith Bales? He was good at that kind of stuff.
No, I got a guy out of Smithfield that
can
I
do
can
it.
send to him.
Well, what you want to do is you want to have them do a live catch. You don't want to put poison up in there and kill them off, because what happens is they deteriorate in your attic, and then when your wife starts smelling something that's funky, you're going to be in trouble.
You're right. Exactly.
So you want to make sure that you get the hole stopped. And where you're located in Chesapeake, you say?
Yes, sir.
Chuck probably knows someone. Alvin may know someone. Cindy may know someone. Cindy will attack the squirrel herself, and you can call her, and we'll give her number out to you in just a minute. But
okay.
She knows someone, and she does go in. She'll go into crawl space and wrestle a snake, and that's a real woman for you.
Agreed.
Do you have Cindy's number handy, Chuck?
No, I'll give it. I'll send it to him by email.
Okay. You left your number and information at the guy at the phone, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Well, we'll get that information to you so you can go ahead and get everything straight and find out what you got to do to get rid of those varmints, because they are destructive. They will wreck your place. So be sure you get it.
No,
all right.
We were joking around about, there's I think a 22 caliber is probably good enough. But we can't say that on live air. So, actually, Damon told us that there is a squirrel season, so you can't kill them, right, Damon?
Yep. I mean, you might get in a little trouble with the man. So best to.
If you kill them, you can't eat them anyway.
No, that's true. You better take Michael's advice and just live trap release.
Yeah. There's that's a bad idea. There's not a lot of animals you can kill. I mean, we got a coyote that runs through here every now and then.
Sure, and you'll never get rid of all of them. I will want to throw this out there. Just a fun squirrel fact of the day. Squirrels don't just have one nest. They have a number of different nests. So when something goes wrong at one, they have a backup nest. So they'll have 5-10 different nests. So sealing it up, like Mike said, making sure they don't come back is the first step.
Yep. We got Jake over in Virginia Beach. He has a new heat pump, and it's struggling. Are you there, buddy?
Yep. Put a new heat pump in about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, and if it's above 90 degrees, it struggles to keep it down. It gets down to about 78 is all we can get it to, and it's running all day.
How big is your house, Jake?
About 2,500 square feet.
And do you know what tonnage air conditioner you have?
I want to say it's a 3.5 ton.
Okay. Yeah, that's on the struggle bus as far as being a big enough unit. You don't have to say their name, but I mean, you had a licensed contractor put it in, or just a buddy?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
So, yeah, I don't like to use bad names on the thing. So I just like to attack the problem. So even if you do the old, now again, we do room by room load calculations, CAD drawings. So if you had a 1,000 square foot house that had normal windows, normal insulation, bad insulation, good insulation, all that. So 1,000 square foot house is going to, we'll call it a 2-ton house, right? So you can get about, old rule of thumb, like 1970s rule of thumb, before computers. You have a 1,200 square foot house, you should be able to handle that with a 2-ton unit. Again, please know these are round numbers. Don't anybody use this. What really needs to happen is a CAD drawing, load calculation, rotation of house, east-west, location, where are the windows at on the house. So what I want to explain to you, if you have 1,000 square foot house with average windows, average doors, average insulation, a 2-ton should handle that house. It's about 600 square foot per ton. So new construction, it can be even better than that, right? So that's just kind of a rule of thumb to see if we're in the ballpark, which you're close, but not close. We're a couple away, but like I like to explain it like this: if I have a 1,200 square foot house that's built like a sunroom, that means I got glass on all 4 sides. I got sliding glass doors on all 4 sides. Do you think I can keep that house comfortable with a 2-ton unit? The answer is no, because you can't beat God, right? So all that glass. Now let's do the same house, 1,200 square foot house, and I've got 1 inch, 2 inch of insulation in my attic. I mean, the house is like a wind tunnel, and I have average houses, average windows, average doors, no new windows like Mike would put in there because that helps drop the load. So is that house going to be able to be handled by a 2-ton unit? Probably not, right? So that's why I say every house is different. So I like to kind of explain it like that. So, but yeah, 600 square foot is about the average. You said 2,500. I don't have a calculator near me, but that's what 600 times 4 is 24, right? So 2,400. So you're probably talking closer to a 4-ton unit versus a 3.5 ton. So you may, we probably just need to come out and do like a CAD drawn load calculation on the house and kind of make sure you got the right tonnage. But you may have to supplement. Do you have like a room over the garage or any kind of?
We do. We have a room over the garage and a sunroom.
So is your house a ranch type house?
It's a ranch house, and then it has that room over the sunroom, or room over the garage,
and that room,
the sunroom.
That room's always hot, isn't it?
Sorry.
It is. It's always hot.
A couple of things we could do is we do attic retrofits, which we come in, suck out all the old insulation, and that includes the old squirrels, like the last question. We suck them out too, and they're dead in the insulation. Suck out the insulation, spray foam, seal the house, put in R50 insulation. That can help us bring the load down on the house so that we can bring that temperature down in the summer. We could encapsulate the crawl space, which would stop some of the heat loss and heat gain from the crawl space. There's a natural draft of a house. If you have an open crawl space, that heat's getting into your house. So there are some things that we could do to kind of tighten up. Being that you already have a 2-year-old system, I don't want to tell you to rip that thing out and put a new one in. I mean, that might be the only answer, but I'd like to kind of work towards other stuff that probably needs to be done anyway. Spray foam, sealing up the house, that's not a bad thing, right? It's making our house more energy efficient. Maybe putting a mini split in the room over the garage. That could maybe help supplement. So you could take that square footage off the house. We could disconnect that ductwork to the room over the garage. And, you know, so I probably shouldn't say it to all the cat lovers, but I mean, there's 6 different ways to skin a cat, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that we can do to make it better, to utilize the heat pump that you had. Because, I mean, I don't want you to punch me in the head if I tell you got to rip it out and put a new one in. So,
well, one thing too that you might think about that Chuck could help you with. When was your house built?
87.
Okay. Well, I tell you one thing that's changed a lot since '87, because I've been building houses since 1973. You probably got 1 supply line, maybe 2 in that bonus room over the garage. Is that correct or incorrect?
There's 2, but the airflow is very.
Okay. Is there an air return in that room? There's probably not.
2x2. There's a 2x2 in there.
Okay, well, the thing that you got to be sure of is that one of your lines didn't get crushed. If you got low airflow, the line could have been crushed, and that's why you're not getting enough airflow. But those bonus rooms over those garages had to have a lot of TLC, sealing up everything tight, insulating it properly. I started out before I bought into the window company as a builder, and I still build houses. And Chuck is absolutely correct. Spray foam, for instance, I do that around receptacles and outside walls. I put foam in behind all the water lines, and I try not to put a water line on the outside wall, but if it's got one, I wrap it up in closed cell foam. You just got to do, because what you can't see is some of the most important parts of your house. Chuck does all of those things. Nobody grows in a crawl space. I mean, most of the time, they're afraid to go in a crawl space, except for Cindy. She loves going to crawl space. But, you close up the air spots that can leak. You got to get a great electrician, a great plumber, a great heating guy, the insulating guy, because once that sheetrock goes up, you don't ever see any of that stuff again. And it's the old thing that beauty's only skin deep, ugly goes clean to the bone.
Yeah, it's when I pulled the sheetrock off of my walls, man. I could see outside, like there was 1-inch gaps on those boards. I could literally see people walking by my house when I pulled the sheetrock off. I'm like, well, no kidding, this thing is hard as heck. I only have a 1,400 square foot house, and I had a 3-ton unit on my house because I had no insulation. I had no, what do they say? The plumber's house always got a water leak. The heating and air guy's house is always hot. So it's, we're fixing up the house now to fix all that, to remedy all that. But my point is there's so many things that we could do to make the house more energy efficient. I think, like I said, the biggest thing I'd probably look at is maybe a mini split in that room over the garage. But I would definitely look at spray foam and insulation and tightening up that house so that we're not losing that heat and air conditioning.
Yeah. Jack, why don't you go through our list of people here, the sponsors again?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a few other people that aren't here tonight, but we have Justin with Pyramid Roofing. We have Tommy Hines with Perfect Home Remedy. He is the get your money guy. Then we have Albin with Albin Co., remodeling homes. And we have Sydney Rowell with Alpha Pet Solutions.
Yeah, and I mentioned Albin because Chuck is getting a major, he's taking it down to the skeletal part. And Albin is in there with a laser, and they're getting things jacked up, squared up, and straightened out, and doing a great job doing it. So if you got a home repair, a home addition, you want to build a new home, you need to give him a call because he can take care of your business for you. And Chuck puts my windows in his house. His fiance, Julie, she says, hey, I want that sliding patio door as big as you can get it. So we made one 7 foot wide and 7 foot tall, and it fit right in there like a glove. It is just, and that's what we're all about at CVP Windows and Doors. We do what you need to have done. If you want to have something special done, we can do that because we make the product ourselves. We do it right there in Newport News, 260 Enterprise Drive. That's where we manufacture. We take 20-foot long pieces of vinyl that's been extruded by Vecca. We get that into our plant. We get a spec sheet, tells our guy how to cut it. It's welded at 500 plus degrees, and that seal, that weld is permanent. I mean, it's not going to come undone at some other time. And we do stuff. We're doing some condos over in Virginia Beach on Shore Drive, work up around the 11th floor. We go up into Williamsburg and do stuff that has to be approved by the Historic Committee. We just got finished doing a big job for the breeding companies right there in Norfolk. If you ever ride 64 and go into that slight curve to the right when you come out of the tunnel going towards the beach from the peninsula, on the right-hand side you see 10 big apartment buildings down there. Did all that work because they wanted double-hung windows. Norfolk only wants double-hung windows. A lot of guys don't do that, but breeding did right there because that's what was required. And the other thing is that Energy Star is a big deal. That's the highest quality you can get, and the government sets the standard how you can get that. The Energy Star numbers that are required in Gloucester are different than the Energy Star numbers that are required in Norfolk or even in Hampton. And Williamsburg is a little more, and then up in Richmond is totally different also. You got to have a guy that knows what's going on. Our general manager, Donald Panata, knows that. He and Jennifer Smith, they are on top of that, where they make sure that our numbers are the right numbers and that you're getting the very best quality you can have in the marketplace for what you want. And if you want to go a little more, we can do that too. We can put STC-rated windows like we did at that breeding project. I mean, you could throw a stone and hit the interstate. But when you go in those units, you don't hear the noise. We did one for Clancy and Thays over near it's on Shore Drive at Lesnar Bridge, and that building wasn't 20 foot from Shore Drive and all them thousands of cars. And when you go in there and you open that window, you couldn't even talk to each other. You close the window and you can just whisper like this, and it's not a problem. So it's all about having somebody that knows what they're doing, how to do it, and is looking out for your best interest. And as CVP Windows and Doors, that is exactly what we do. Everybody on this program, like Chuck said, has been handpicked. They're the utmost quality. They take care of people. They follow up with people, and they make sure that the job is done right and done right each and every time. And if they don't, if there's a problem, it's like people say, well, my guy never has a problem. When anybody says that, that's the first time they told you a lie. Everybody eventually will run across something that is an issue. But the real man is the one that comes back and takes care of it. And that's what it's all about, trying to resolve any issue that occurs.
Well, that being said, Mike, I do have a question for Chuck.
If things go wrong on job sites all the time, So, we've got 75 employees. Whenever you got that many employees, somebody's going to have a bad day, right? It's just so bad things happen every day. But, I think what separates the good companies and the bad companies are the companies, hey, look, that went wrong. Hey, let's fix it. Let's make it right. Character, integrity, doing the right thing. I know Mike's about that. I know Jack's about that. I know all the guys on here are about that. We don't claim to be perfect. We just claim to, hey, look, if something happens, let's fix it. We kind of, I was really proud of Justin the other day. He told on Pyramid they had a problem. They ran into like a water thing on a house, and he calls me in a panic at like 4 o'clock on a Friday. He's like, bro, like we jacked up, like this guy's like, we hit his like water pipe to his house, and we got out there within about an hour and a half or so, fixed everything for him, sent him a bill. They paid the bill, no questions asked, right? So it's not that everything goes perfect. It's just that you're working with companies that got a good reputation, that want a good reputation, that want to keep their reputation. You got to do stuff like that. Now, do we have people that want stuff for free? And, hey, yeah, absolutely. So there's good customers and good companies, and then there's bad customers and bad companies, right? So we want to keep the good customers with the good companies, and that's why I'm surrounding myself with these guys here. You were going to say something, Jack?
Yeah, I had a quick question for you. As in regards to crawl spaces, good signs that it's time to have your crawl space looked at or encapsulated, or if there's other options as well. And then the second part of that, any good maintenance tips as far as, the crawl space and what to do with it once you do have it fixed.
Yeah, I'll give a plug to Cindy Raw. I'm sure she's the same way. If nobody's been in your crawl space for the past year, you need to put somebody in your crawl space that knows what the heck they're doing to take a look around. Cindy does free inspections all the time. If you want any estimates on work doing stuff under houses, we can do that too. But we kind of separate what me and Cindy does all pests. We don't want anything to do with that. But we do full encapsulations. We pull permits. We do full encapsulations, insulating walls, spray foam, sealing up houses. Cindy does inspections, free inspections, and looks at everything underneath the house. And if there's a problem or something needs to be done, she'll refer us in and kind of go from there. But, yeah, it's always a good idea. If you haven't had anybody in the house in a year, it's time. It's time. So
definitely.
Nobody took a shot at my Abe Lincoln, but he was the 16th president.
And I did not know him.
You didn't know it. All right.
No,
well,
I did not.
Yeah. One cool fact about him that you want to read that? Do we have enough time for you to read that, Damon? That was pretty cool. That was another reason he was one of my favorites. It's because he was a wrestler like me.
Yeah, he was a wrestling champion. Apparently somewhere near 300 matches, and apparently he only lost like one. But, yeah, he was 6'3". It was way back in the 20s and 30s when they would have open matches at, like, fairs and whatnot. But, yeah, he was a champion wrestler. 13 presidents were actually wrestlers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did know it about Lincoln. I did know that he was a stud wrestler, which is probably one of the reasons that dude kept coming back. Because if you're in wrestling, you're coming back.
Hey, guys, we're coming back just before Labor Day weekend. Come on back and see us.
The preceding program is sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services.